You're listening to She's the Business podcast.
How well do you really know your ideal customer? Do you know what they're thinking, what they're feeling? Do you really know what it is that gets them to take action versus gets them stuck there on the fence? Well, if you're not sure, if you've got a little bit of doubt about, do you really know them all that well? We'll get them to take action. So stay tuned. It's coming right up.
Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration.
And I have a review shout out to do. I absolutely love to receive reviews on the podcast. I love to know what you think. And I do encourage you to go ahead and drop a review there for me. I read every single one personally. And this month, I'm giving a shout out to Valerie. Thank you, Valerie, at Valerie in Life. She says, inspiring, strategic, actionable. I love this podcast so much. Jessica explains excellent business strategies with enthusiasm and patience. Her solo and guest episodes leave me feeling inspired to take action on different areas of my business. Thank you for these great topics and conversations. Wow, that is fantastic. Thank you so much, Valerie, for taking the time to leave that review for other people to see. And I'm so glad that you're enjoying the podcast. And now on to this week's episode. Welcome back. Today we're talking about one of my all-time favorite subjects that I love to deep dive into, and that is all about your ideal customer. Now, this isn't going to be just the same old stuff that you've heard anywhere else, because I'm going to share with you 4 different things that you need to know about them that will actually help you know them really, really well. And the thing is that you know when you know them well versus when you don't know them well, because the difference is you're so clear about exactly what to say to them. You're so clear about exactly where you should be posting, how to communicate, what to do. You really are removing all of that question, confusion, feeling flustered and a little bit scattered in your marketing. It just disappears when you know your ideal customer as well as you should know them. So what are these 4 things? Well, let's deep dive into what they are right now. Now, these are just 4 out of, I'm going to say at a ballpark, maybe 30 different aspects that I get you to do when you use my customer avatar profiling customer avatar worksheet, because it really is the ultimate. This is not, surface level, bog standard stuff that you're going to find anywhere, that you're going to find on the back of a textbook or the back of a Weet-Bix packet or in Philip Kotler's 4 Ps of marketing. This is not the standard stuff that you'll see other online marketers sharing, because this has actually come from my own experience. It's not us. This is exactly what I use in my business to get inside the mind of my ideal client. And the mind is where it's at. It's not about, well, of course, sometimes it's about where they live, but it's really not so much about where they live, how old they are, or any of those surface level things like what they're into or what they're reading. Those are all interesting. They can kind of help to get a general idea, but what you absolutely need to know is what's going on in their mind. How else can you speak to them with any kind of power? How else can you speak to them on a level that connects with them, that you can show empathy, that you can really show them that you understand what's going on and you can help them get to that next step? Well, the fact is you can't, of course, unless you really understand their mind. So what are the things that you need to know that are going on inside their mind? Number 1, super important. What is it that they actually desire? You might think that you know what they want or a better outcome for them from what they currently have, but is that what they really want? there is a big difference here. We can see people who are struggling with something and think, oh, wow, they must want this. They must want that alternative. I could see how it would be so much better for them. But just think about it. How many times have you seen they're doing something that's not helpful for them? Maybe it's not healthy. Maybe it's not very productive. And you've tried to help them. You've tried to give them some tips on something else to do. And guess what? They never do it because they're actually the same as you can. So this is really important to make the distinction between and actually to start to understand, well, what is it that they do want? What do they want? That's what they're interested in, is what they want. They're not interested in what you think they want. They're not interested in something that they don't even know about. They have desires. Everybody has desires, whether we're talking about, marketing to a person for something about their life, or whether you're marketing to a business owner, a leader, somebody who has, we're talking about their business and everything about that. They have desires. We have desires in every single part of our life, what it is that we really want. Not many. Sometimes we're in a place where we have what we want, and that's great, but it's usually not in every single part of your life, right? So your ideal customer, what is it that they actually desire? That is the first thing that you really need to know. If you don't know that, you don't know how to market to them. The second one is, what is their belief or the fear that they've got that's actually stopping them from getting what they want, right? There is something. And if you don't know what it is straight away, then keep on asking yourself the question until you find it. They're saying that they want something, having a desire for something, and not actually having it. So what's stopping them from getting there? What don't they know? What don't they have? What do they even believe that is stopping them? Maybe it's imaginary. Maybe it's themselves that's stopping them from getting there, right? Often, yes, there is something in our head. Maybe we've got some preconceived idea that we can't have it, or that it's not possible, or whatever else is going on. But there is something, at least one thing, probably many. What is that primary thing that's stopping them from getting what they want? Find out what belief is. Because if you can speak to it and you can change their perception about it, their perspective on what it means for them, then you can change their ability to take action on it. And that's only then. The third thing that we want to know about our ideal customer, our ideal client, is what is their potential future if they don't act now? If they don't take action to get their desire, then what's going to happen? What's going to happen then? Of course, we can't read the future. We don't have crystal balls. We don't have insight into the future, but you can probably take a pretty good guess. What do they think is going to happen if they don't act? That's more important. And I always highly recommend to my clients when we're working on messaging to never tell someone something is. Don't mind read. Don't tell them this is what's going to happen in the future like it's already ordained, because they're going to sit there thinking, well, how do you know? Maybe it won't. Maybe it won't for me. They're not going to believe you. So what we want to do instead is think about suggesting, asking them the question, well, what do they think is going to happen? Could it be this? You can suggest it. That's a far easier way for them to acknowledge that that is a potential outcome that they might end up with. The fourth and final thing that you need to know is that how do they believe in themselves? What do they believe is possible for them? If you understand what they're believing in, what they believe is possible for them now, then you can help them to see what could be possible for them in the future. And this is so much more related to the service offering that you are selling. So when we are analyzing our ideal customer with that frame in mind, then we're getting into the things that are stopping them from taking action, the thoughts that are stopping them from taking action, what they're doing, maybe even it's some behaviors that they're doing that's preventing them from reaching what it is that they really want. And that's what you can work with in your marketing to get them into a place where, as you may have heard me say many times in the past, marketing is not about convincing someone who doesn't need what you want. It's about helping someone who already wants what it is that you have, what you can help them with. It's helping them to take that action, take that step, and actually do what is required so that they can get to the end result, to accept the help, to sign up for it, to actually get there. So I hope that's been useful. I hope that's been really insightful. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. What did you come up with today that's different or new a new perspective that you didn't have about your ideal client. Once you turn off this episode, you can journal a little bit on it, go back through the questions, see what comes up for you. What do you think is going on inside your ideal client's head right now? And let me know. Jump onto Instagram, send me a DM, share something that you heard or thought about this episode that's made an impact for you. I always love to hear comments and get messages from you because I like to chat with you guys online. So do that, and I'd love to hear from you. All right, that's it from me today, and you'll hear from me again, obviously, next week. Thank you so much for being a listener of She's a Business podcast. Thank you for tuning in today. Bye for now. Now, if I asked you, do you know who your ideal customer is? More than likely, you're going to answer, yes, of course I do. Or at least I know enough about them to market to them. Or do you? You see, the number one reason why most audiences aren't converting into buyers, or even if you're having trouble building an audience in the first place, is simply because you haven't gone deep enough to understand who it is exactly who you're speaking to. There's no connection being made there, and therefore those people aren't taking that next step. They're not connecting with you, they're not connecting through to become your clients. It's not so much about who they are as a person, who you might see, but more what is actually going on inside their head. What are those questions running on repeat inside their minds? What is it that they're feeling so stuck and frustrated about? And really, why aren't they able to shift themselves out of that place? Now, these are just some of the amazing questions that I get you to explore inside my brand new Customer Avatar Worksheet. I've called it the ultimate Customer Avatar Worksheet because you will never, ever have seen one like this before. It is so much about what's going on in the mind, with a couple of questions just to help you get the visual profile of who it is you're speaking to as well. But clearly, it is their thoughts and the way to connect to their thoughts that shifts somebody from being just a person out there in the market into being somebody who's an active fan, a member of your audience, and not only that, but also a buyer. And that takes deeper connection than what most people are prepared to do. So if you're prepared to go that additional step to get really deep and meaningful with your ideal customer, then head over to my website and download this free worksheet right now, and you can get started. It's at jessicaosborne.com/customer-avatar. I've got the link for you here in the show notes, so you can hop straight over there and just get it, download it, and let me know how you get on. Like, how did you find this exercise that I take you through? Because I guarantee you are going to learn more than one brand new thing about your ideal customer that you never knew before. So enjoy, good luck. I hope you love it as much as I do.